Fairly static, yeah, for sure. You see the driver moving around. It looked like he was punching the dashboard there for a minute. He looked pretty agitated. Now sitting with his hands folded there. I came in a little tighter to get a better look at what's going on inside the vehicle, but as I come out wide, you see the stance of the law enforcement here. They have the canine ready to go. They have surrounded. He really can't go anywhere at this point, so it's just a matter of talking him out to surrender. A lot of times what they'll do if he does not want to come out, they will put in a beanbag round through one of the windows to then get pepper balls in there to try to get him to come out that way. And then if not, then it'll be a SWAT situation if it comes to that.
And Gil, what's the situation look like on the roads out there? Are they blocking off that freeway exit?
Well, the 60 freeway remains open. Let me come out to the off-ramp there. Looks like the off-ramp's still open. That vehicle there at the bottom of your screen is exiting the freeway. So it looks like that's still open. And, you know, that was the perfect spot to do this pit maneuver. The vehicle had to slow down because there was other cars in front of him. And then when he went to hit the gas and made that left turn, that was the perfect opportunity to spin him out. There was no traffic on that side of the street, was able to spin that car out perfectly. So good response there by the police department to get that pursuit stopped.
Yeah, and corralled and contained, it looks like, to these northbound lanes of this surface street here. And a question being how long this is going to take to get the suspect out of the car. This again was a suspected DUI driver, wanted for, among other things at this point, felony evading, but this was a pursuit that moved along the 60 freeway and it moved at a very high rate of speed, more than 100 miles an hour from what we could tell. As Sky 5 was tailing this pursuit, in effect having a hard time catching up to it, as it were. It's very difficult when they're moving at that speed for a helicopter to make much ground on a situation. This driver was moving recklessly and at very high speeds. Now a little bit of movement in the car there, and you can be sure the commands continue. It looks like the passenger window might be down, hard to say with the glare or lack thereof, but you got to believe at this point that the communication has been established, and he is very clearly not listening to what officers have to say to him.
Boy, he has to feel cornered, though. You've got all those law enforcement vehicles around you, the flashing lights. Gil, they'll be yelling out commands to him over the loudspeaker, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's able to hear them. I don't know if they're able to hear him. He's definitely gesturing. It looks like some rude gestures to the officers at this point. But certainly agitated. He knows he has nowhere to go. He's trying to desperately get away, and now they have him cornered. He's not happy about that. But at this point, you know, surrender is the only option. There's nowhere for this driver to go. But it may be a prolonged situation if he refuses to come out.
So, Gil, we're gathering this started in this jurisdiction of Ontario, the city of Ontario. This is Ontario PD here. Engage with this suspect. Any further information on the circumstances surrounding did he fail to yield?
Yeah, it sounds like he was evading. It sounds like they got behind it. They got behind the vehicle. It was suspected DUI. Maybe it was swerving. Maybe at a high rate of speed. They tried to pull it over and the driver refused to pull over. So at that point, it's felony evading. And then the way the driver was driving on the freeway, excess of 100 miles an hour. There goes something out the window. Looked like maybe a bottle or a can that he just threw out the window. But yeah, we first learned about it. It was westbound on the 60, approaching the 71. Then it turned around and went eastbound. We were over the Chino Hills at that point trying to catch it. We got a first glimpse of it, and it was really just slow go to catch up to this guy. Really, we were at top speed, but we finally did catch up to it as we went live there. And exiting the freeway here, that pit maneuver was perfect.
See that the passenger side window of the vehicle is down. He is gesturing still toward the officer, throwing his arms out the window. The commands from them over the loudspeaker will be to throw the car keys out the window, because it did appear at one point that he was trying to move the vehicle. That's not going to happen now. They've got all those vehicles in place. They've got the Bearcat from the SWAT team in position, the dog standing by. This guy's not going anywhere. The only resolution is to get him out of the vehicle. The question now is, how are they going to do that, Gil? Will they rush? Will they open that door? Will they send in the canine unit? That's what we wait and see.
Yeah, my first thought is that they're going to put some sort of gas into the vehicle. Whether the window's down or not, they will get that pepper ball or pepper spray or the tear gas into the vehicle, and that's usually enough to bring anybody out of a vehicle. We've seen that at times, though. People stay in there and they hang in there despite the burning eyes, the tearing eyes, not unable to breathe. At this point, your guess is as good as mine as far as what they're going to put in there, but it's likely going to be one or the other, either the pepper ball rounds through the window or tear gas, and then that should flush the driver out. If not, then it's to the next step. They're going to move the vehicle, that SWAT vehicle, in closer, and then it's just going to be an extraction at that point with the SWAT team going in with cover to pull them out. We might see the officers do that anyways. We might see them move in if they're comfortable enough with the driver not being armed. Then, but here we go. See the vehicle of the Ontario SWAT vehicle starting to move in closer. The driver looking a little uncomfortable there, kind of wiggling in his seat as the vehicle moves in closer and closer, right up to the car door. And now he only has that rear driver's side door to exit at this point.
Now, Gil, why would they do that if they want to fire something into the vehicle? Will that come from the SWAT team?
Yeah, they'll definitely put it in from one side or the other. They'll find a good angle, likely the back window maybe, or the side window, rear side window. Just, breaking the glass, getting the round in there to get that gas in there to flush the driver out. He does have one option at this point to go out that back driver's side door. He has the sunroof too. If he wanted to come out of the sunroof, he could do that. Or out of the windows, the driver's window or passenger windows even. But the doors are now blocked in. 3 of the 4 doors are pretty much blocked in. You see the officers have shifted to the right side of the screen here, the driver's side of the situation here. They have their shields. They have a canine there. So we'll see what happens here. The driver's going to still refuse with that vehicle right up against him. Like I said, his world just got a lot smaller, and he's got a lot less options at this point.
Yeah, and they're hoping that by bringing things closer and closer to him, that eventually he changes his mind. Thus far, he hasn't done that. You see the canine unit there on screen right. So the assumption being, if they try to flush him out with some sort of pepper ball or tear gas,
Say again, David?
It's going to be out the driver's side that he goes, at which point you'll have a number of officers, including the dog there, to subdue this suspect. It's so very combative. Verbally, he is just such an aggressive stance at this point. Officers are moving with extreme caution here, obviously, and taking their time in affecting their strategy. But it will be successful somehow, one way or another. The question is, what does the suspect do? The ball is in his court. This man wanted for DUI, moving at over 100 miles an hour, driving erratically, and now behaving irrationally again here as you see the SWAT vehicle has moved right up, and there goes the smoke canister. And how long can anyone be inside a vehicle and continue to breathe and remain conscious in that situation? They fired something in. Look at him fighting this.
Yeah, he's got to come out of the vehicle now. This is a definite escalation of what we've seen over the past few minutes. The officers on the right side of your screen are in position. It looks like they're going to try and force him out the driver's side of the vehicle. The Bearcat right up against the passenger side, so it doesn't appear that he'll go out that way. But I think at this point, all the officers have to do is stand back and wait. This guy's going to come out one way or the other.
Yeah, Micah and Sandra, he had the window down. He was making gestures to the SWAT team. He had that window down. There goes another round. That looked like it might have gone through the back window. Yes, it did. The passenger rear window. Just another round of, it looks like maybe tear gas that they put in there now. And it looks like the cabin is fully covered in that tear gas in there, but the driver still refusing to move or come out of the vehicle. So again, it looks like the second round of either pepper ball or tear gas going in there. Still not flushing the driver out at this point, but the officers are ready. They're prepared on the right-hand side of your screen. If the driver bails out and starts to run, they're there with the canine. They're there with their shield. And but at this point, the driver hanging tough, not coming out.
This is incredible. We've seen at least 2 rounds fired into this vehicle. What looked like a can of tear gas canister at the outset of their firing. the first shot was an incredible amount of smoke. The second shot, less so, through the rear window. Might have been a beanbag round blowing out a window to try and, eventually maybe get more smoke or tear gas in. Now he's got the driver's window down.
Yeah, it appears he's putting his hands out the window, but we've seen this guy making a lot of gestures. I don't see him making gestures right now. Perhaps he is ready to give up. Looks like he might be reaching around for the door handle. Gil, can you make it out?
He's got his left hand out the window, sort of, the elbow and his forearm there pointing at the officers. Looks like he's talking to them, but maybe using that as an opportunity to get some fresh air in the vehicle. It looks like what they put in there was pepper ball rounds, but it's hard to tell. They definitely blew out that rear passenger side window to get that second round in there. The first round went in through the front, and he quickly rolled up the window there, so he may not have gotten the full effect of the first round, but the second round definitely went in and definitely caused a problem for that driver. Lowering his driver window there enough even to just gesture and talk to the officers. Looks like he's sneezing there, maybe coughing a little bit. Hands out the window now. That might be it. We'll see. He's complying now. That's what they want. They want his hands out the window, and if he's able to climb out that window, great. If he's able to get into that back seat and open that rear door, okay, that's okay too. But at this point, I think they'd rather see him come out that window.
Yeah, he's got his hands up, but until we see further movement and compliance, you don't know what he's saying to them. You don't know. Now they're waving. You can see the officer there, the center of your screen, gesturing for him to come out, and he's not doing it. His hands are up, but at this point, it's hard to say what he might be telling the officers. Obviously, he's telling them that he's not ready to give up. He would have. He had every opportunity. And now we've seen the smoke canisters go into the vehicle. The pepper, it's enough to, it's remarkable that he hasn't been flushed out of this car to this point.
Yeah, he's still fighting it. And I mean, if it was pepper that they sprayed into that vehicle, his eyes are burning right now. His throat is burning. They might be telling him to exit the back seat, but it might be difficult for him to see, actually, to kind of crawl around back there. But whatever it is he's thinking, it's not working. They've got the upper hand. If they need to, they will fire another pepper ball or tear gas into that vehicle. They're going to force him out. They've got the K9 unit right there. They can send that dog in at any moment with the windows down.
Yeah, absolutely. They're giving this driver every opportunity to surrender and not have to use these methods to get him out of there. The dog's there just to remind the driver, hey, we're here, we mean business. But again, the driver's still refusing to come out after the 2 rounds of that gas, whatever it was, whether it was pepper spray or pepper balls or tear. I don't think it was the tear gas, though. I think he probably would have been out by now. But we'll see if that's coming next.
We'll see. The officers have a number of options at their disposal, and they want to bring this to an end as peacefully as possible. This suspect had every opportunity to get out of this car long before the SWAT team even arrived on the scene. This has been going on for the better part of an hour now, with this suspect refusing commands. And you can see him now looking out his windshield and up in the direction of Sky 5 and law enforcement. Law enforcement again circling overhead. This is Ontario PD here executing what they hope will be a peaceful arrest here of a suspect that was driving so very erratically on the freeway at over 100 miles an hour, and now in this standoff situation with just really erratic behavior inside this car. A lot of arm waving and pounding and gesturing and yelling at officers, and they're showing extreme patience here with the suspect. The K9 unit is on scene. They have obviously not used that option yet. That things would end very quickly if the K9 was involved. But they've got the suspect now. It looks like further communication. The driver's side window's down, and he's doing a lot of talking now with officers, and hopefully that's a de-escalation sign, Gil.
I think so. I think it is. It's moving in the right direction, at least, getting that driver to calm down. He looks like he's a lot calmer. I'm sure that gas, whatever they used on him, definitely did the job to calm him down. He's kind of coughing, rubbing his face, so it looks like it's in his eyes, in his lungs, and that's enough to slow anybody down. But at this point, he's still refusing to come out. He can easily climb out that window for sure, but we'll see. There goes another round. There we go. Yet another round. So here he goes, diving his hands into his face, or his face into his hands there, as it clearly smokes up that cabin of that vehicle, and he's just kind of down in his hands with his hands covering his face, one hand up on the driver's steering wheel. And we'll see what happens here if the officers decide to move in and just pull him out of that windshield or not. But at this point, they're content with seeing what that gas will do to this driver here, bring him out. He's definitely agitated there, upset. But really, all he has to do is come out, surrender, and this is over.
Boy, he's fighting this to the bitter end. This is the third round that it's gone inside this car. He has yet to be flushed out. This is something. You know, usually the threat of one's enough. If that doesn't work,
Yeah.
you've got the canine, a lot of threat, all bark, no bite to that point in the figurative sense, but they're biting hard now with these canisters, this pepper, and to be sure, he's in a lot of pain.
Yeah, he's really uncomfortable inside that vehicle, right? It's making his eyes burn. It affects your skin, your breathing, and here he's coming out, crawling out of the driver's side window.
Well, I mean, there's self-preservation at some point, and that's what this requires for you to be able to breathe. But interestingly and remarkably, he continues to resist.
Wow. Boy, defiant to the end, pointing his fingers at the officers, yelling at them at something. But all he has to do is keep coming out that window. It's over, and he's out of that pain. But still, sitting in the seat there is going to take more rounds. I mean, that's the third one, and he's already halfway out the window. Maybe it's one more that'll drive him out. But, wow, very defiant.
This is just unbelievable. I mean, he knows how this is going to end. Police know how this is going to end. He is just prolonging the inevitable at this point. Right side of your screen, we see that whatever that is that he threw out of the vehicle when they first did that pit maneuver.
Yeah.
It looks like he thinks he's in control of this situation, Gil.
He does. He does. And here we go. Okay, so now he's halfway out. He's sitting on the windowsill, still arguing with the officers. I think he's doing that to get some fresh air for himself. Mm-hmm. All he has to do is just get on that hood of that police car and climb out. There, he's doing it finally. So this is a good sign. He's got his hands up. That's a good sign. He's going to turn around. He's going to put his hands, you don't want to grab at the waist, but he's going to kneel down. Okay, so at this point, he is complying. He's had enough. And now they're going to move in to arrest him, whether they have him lay down or back up. They might have him back up to the officers, and then they'll put the cuffs on, and this situation will finally be over. But they don't want him doing that. They want him to turn away from the officers, and there he goes, just putting his hands down. They don't want that to happen.
Wow. Okay, so
they're going to grab him.
Yeah. This is it's imminent at this point, and it looks as though he isn't going to fight this any longer. But what a fight he put up in that vehicle. That was incredible to see. A number of pepper balls into that vehicle. He did not exit. He suffered a great deal in that car and refused to get out. Now they're clearing the vehicle. The suspect is in custody, and this DUI suspect can harm no one tonight aside from himself in what it was a very violent, potentially violent situation here toward the end that ended peacefully, thankfully, and no innocent drivers hurt. This guy was going over 100 miles an hour on the freeway. A DUI suspect, not what you want to see on the freeways at night.
Yeah, we are glad it ended this way. The patience of Ontario police, the pit maneuver that got him off the freeway without a collision involving any other innocent drivers, and now he is handcuffed and he is on his way to jail.
Indeed he is. All right, Gil Avis in Sky 5, thank you. We want to look